Hi, I'm Colette Mason, and welcome to Daring the Big Leap, the interview series for people who want to transition from employee to making a living as a change worker. And in this series, I'm interviewing people who successfully made the transition because we get to learn from their experience. And today's guest is my dear friend Colette Mason. In 2014, after many years of being responsible for stressful, high profile, multi million pound IT projects, she walked away from corporate land, looking for a new professional challenge. Colette's new path enabled her to follow her heart, and she chose to help budding authors unleash the information locked in their heads and turn it into their own brilliant books readers rave about. Now, the owner of Let's Tell Your Story Publishing, Colette uses her 35 plus years of experience working with people and information to help professionals write and publish their book in just 12 weeks. She has written 6 books herself and helped to publish over thousands others. Welcome, Colette.
Hi. Hello.
Thank you so much for accepting my invitation. And my first question would be really, would you be willing to share how did you make the transition from employee to making a living as a change worker?
Okay. Well, I guess the thing that made me do it was I was always conscious of this fact that no one's around forever. My dad died when he was quite young at 59, and he was always limping along to retirement age thinking, I'm going to get to do what I want. And he never got to do that. So I was always thinking, what I'm doing in the day, I'm not really liking this very much. I didn't like commuting. I didn't like pointless meetings. I didn't like documentation and all that kind of stuff you get asked to do. And you think, what's this all about? So I thought, at the age of 40, I thought, that's only like 19 years difference. And the years go by so fast. I'm going to do something. So that was kind of the catalyst that gave me the fire in the belly, if you like, to actually do it. So what I did was I just said to the people I work with, in 3 months, I won't be here. Bye, I'm going. I don't like this. I like you as people, and it's been a lovely opportunity, at least the first 4 weeks, but I'm going now. I don't want to do this anymore. And I had to go then because I'd forced my hand. So that was what it was. And I guess I'd been looking at different ways of getting out of that for 6 years. So I started when I was 40. I didn't really get it going till I was about 45. And that was 5 very long, long years, really. And so I just thought, I'm just going to tell people I'm quitting. I can't go back then. I've burnt my bridge and I've got to get it to work. And that's why the third attempt was the successful one.
So the process took about 5 years. And what were the key milestones for you?
I think the first one was creating my first product. I created one to do with what I was doing in the day job because people were paying me to do that. And I thought, hey, other people want to learn how to do this. And I was sorely mistaken. I spent a hell of a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of life force to create something that, if it was on fire, people would be hard pushed to throw a bucket of water over it. They really didn't care what I'd done. And that was really hard because I thought, well, people used to like me before and now they kind of hate me and think I'm an idiot and nobody knows what's going on. So that was quite a tough lesson. So even though I understood and liked what I was doing, nobody really cared. So I thought, okay. So I thought, well, I'll try something else then. And I kind of jumped on this bandwagon where other people were doing social media training. I thought, well, I know about computers. I know about people. I'll do that. And it was just, didn't gel with me at all. So it was something I could do, but I didn't really care if I was any good at it. I didn't really care about the results that the people got, if I'm really honest with you. And it was that was pretty hard. And I thought, no, I can't do that either. So then I came to this conclusion, well, I've got to pick something that I like, and I've got to pick something that people are going to want to do. And that's when I thought, well, I'll focus on publishing things because I've done all these government publications. It's my fault if you've had to read those. And I thought, yeah, that's what I want to do because I like this idea. So that was another milestone, and I had to pick that. I think in terms of low points, the first thing, people didn't care about what I was doing, and I just got lower and lower and lower, and I kept fighting and working and fighting because I don't really believe in overnight success. You have to. And I kind of missed where the finishing point was when it was time to really call it a day. And I went too far the other way, and I ended up having to go to the doctor saying, look, I'm Googling for where you get helium hoods right now. This isn't good. This isn't like me. I'm normally a positive person, but I just got so low. I thought everything I touch is going to go wrong. I'm a complete idiot. No one cares. And that was another milestone. I thought, we can't go back to that again, but I still want to get this to work. So have a breather and then get going again. So those were kind of key milestones. And then when it started to work and people started to give me money for what I was doing, I thought, I'm really glad I did this. You know, when all the past goes all soft and soft focus and lovely, I forgot about all the hard yards, and I thought, hey, this is really cool. I'm glad I did this. This is good fun. But it has been, 18-hour days working on, I was doing blog posts on Boxing Day this year and stuff like that. So that when it finally started to really work, that was the best bit. Yeah.
Okay. So if you had to encapsulate, what sort of insights helped you along the way throughout your transition, the process?
I would say to yourself, it's probably going to take 6 months at least for me to get something vaguely workable off the ground. I think there are some people who strike gold really easily, but it might not be like that. So don't think because it's taken a while that you've got it wrong, but equally be conscious of the fact if you're 18 months in and people still really don't care what you're doing, is it something wrong with what you do, what you're making, what you're offering, or are you not very good at promoting it? What's causing it not to work after that length of time? So I think that's the biggest thing, really. Assume it's going to be hard work, assume it's going to be fun, and work out where to draw the line, whether to carry on with it or, like I did, write it off and choose something new.
So it's having that awareness. It's like, okay, sort of time frame, how much should I be pushing for, but really, when should I be cutting my losses and experimenting with something else?
Yeah. And if you haven't got a big tribe of people following you, it can be hard to get that feedback to that, if it's working or not. When I'd given up with that first project, I told people about it and, hey, this went wrong. And they go, oh, that sounds really cool. I would have liked to have done that. I'm thinking, oh, no. Sometimes you don't get the feedback that you need to make the good decisions, and you just have to go with your gut and think, just get me the work-life balance that I want, or am I going wrong here?
That's a quite interesting one. So asking for feedback through the process is also helpful.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, to people understand, do people know, like, and trust you, or you do look like a bit of a snake or salesperson? And do they understand what you're offering and how it can help people? I think if you get some feedback on that, that can really help. Because when you're an expert in something, it's sometimes hard to go back to beginner frame of mind, and you might be using terms and ideas that people don't really understand, and you have to think back to, well, what would I need to be told to understand why this is great? And that's getting the feedback is helpful for that. Yeah.
I feel that you raise a really important point, and it has to do with having a beginner's mind, right? Because sometimes, as you said, if we don't become an expert overnight, it's because we put time, energy, money, we invested in ourselves, and I guess as we grow as people and our expertise expands, we kind of may lose contact how it used to be like to be a beginner. So when you try something new, reality, you're starting all over. You have plenty of, resources that you can make use of, but it's going with that beginner's mind. That is something new, something fresh.
Yeah. And I guess also you've got to realise that people really don't know who you are, and you might have been a big shot before. I was getting 6 figures doing these IT projects. I was a kind of a big cheese, and then nobody cared. Nobody clicks like on your blog post. Nothing happens. And that can, brace yourself for that. People really don't care who you are, and you've got to really fight to get noticed.
Wow. Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much. And it's beautiful that we get to learn from your experience.
My hard yards. Plenty of those.
And what sort of obstacles or insecurities or fears you had to overcome?
Right, let's think. Focusing on one thing I found was quite hard, because I'd got all these years of experience, with computers. If I want to make a video, or I want to make some audio, or I want to build a website, or I want to write some code, I can kind of do all those things. And I was thinking, maybe somebody wants somebody like that who can do all these things, and they didn't. And finding one thing to do and never mentioning you can do the other stuff really hurt, and I resisted it quite a while, to be honest. And that's quite hard. To be the go-to person for a tiny little set of people is I was going to say something, is really difficult. So that was one obstacle, thinking, what was this thing going to be? Getting out there and promoting yourself. You think you can, I'll pay somebody to do sales and marketing for me, and all they really do is give you advice and then say, oh, go and test it. There's no guarantee that when you pay these people to help you, it won't work. And I lost thousands of pounds paying for mentoring and paying for advertising and all these things, PR, being featured in these magazines, and there's no guarantee it's going to work. And that you were thinking, well, what the hell do I do now? That's what you're supposed to do. You do that and it works. And that was a big obstacle. And I found the only way you can really do it is by getting out there and being yourself and telling people who you are and how you can help. And the rest doesn't really work. So that was a big obstacle, finding that way, especially as quite a bit of a keyboard warrior. I'm used to organising things through the computer, and having to do it personally I found quite hard. That was another obstacle. I've got a bad sense of imposter syndrome. Who's going to listen to me? Who's this person? What do they know? And that was another big obstacle as well. So even though I was quite successful in this other aspect of life, it was like, oh, are people going to really care about this? Are they going to just like point the finger and say, oh, you're stupid, you got that wrong, or there's a typo in one of your slides, you muppet, And yet that was another big obstacle, and you just have to get over. There's a typo on one of my webinar slides now, and I just think, do you know what? If there's 2 L's in traveller or not 2 L's in traveller, I'm not too fussed right now. It'll have to go. Mm-hmm. Laying off perfectionism. When you're a professional person, I think it's quite hard to let a few things go. That was another obstacle. It's cost me a few months. Is that exactly the right shade of orange? Or I'll redo all the slides again. Would that have made a difference? Probably not.
Mm-hmm. That is a very important point as well. Yes. And I guess it makes part of the learning process, because if you're doing something new, basically it's almost like, the word that came to mind is reinventing, but in reality you sort of recreating yourself in this new space that you want to conquer.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and trying to draw on experiences you've had before. So when I was coming to close sales, because of my consultancy, IT consultancy, I'd go in and see a company. I'd say, hey, I can help you with this, and that interview process was quite close to face-to-face sales. So when I ask people to work with me, we speak on the phone, and then it's kind of the same process. It's like a telephone interview between the two of us, and I found that was a nice, easy way of transferring what I was able to do into this new way of doing it. And if I'd have spent thousands on Google AdWords, something like that, that could have quite easily gone wrong, because that's not what I had an experience of. So that was quite useful to rework it in that way, and using connections that you have from your previous working life as well, and just telling people, hey, I've left what I'm doing this now. If you could let anybody know, that would be really cool. And that's helped quite a lot. I've had quite a lot of referrals from people who knew me before and knew I was like honest and helpful and stuff, and they didn't mind recommending me in this new role when they knew more about what I did.
Okay, and I'm glad you spoke about that, because that would lead me to my next question. So what sort of internal and external resources you were able to make use of? So
yes, my mantra, grow a pair, man up, get it done. That is pretty much it,
Can you do it again slowly?
Man up, grow a pair, get it done. It's just any doubts or excuses, you've just got to forget them and not let it stop you, because they're probably just thoughts. They're not going to be real things. They're not real saber-toothed tigers that are going to stop you, but they might stop you thinking. So what you just have to do is, just like if you're afraid of public speaking, well, go and book a gig, go and book a speaking gig, go and do it. And that's the only way you can get around a lot of these things. And you can and ah and Google and look for secrets and snippets and hints and tips and whatever. But actually, most of the time, you've just got to get on and do it. And that's how you learn, and that's how you get, progressing through. So that's really the biggest thing I would say, is just like, do it. That sounds kind of weird, but, some people just get analysis paralysis, and then you're dead in the water and you get nowhere. So that would be one thing. I think another thing is to have a team of people around you get what you're into. So if you're, kind of getting your coaching business going on the side while you're still at work, people think, well, why are you doing that in the evening and not watching Holby City or something on the TV? Why are you suddenly writing this blog? And they'll try and pull you down a bit and not really understand why. So it's important to hang out with not just people, I've learned this the hard way, I guess, over a few years, not just hang out with people who want to be entrepreneurs, but people who will support you in that journey as well. Because, You can say, I'm doing all these exciting things in my life and I'm going to speak at this thing, and people can't even be bothered to click on like when you say you're doing something that matters to you. Mm-hmm. So I would find people who will congratulate you when you make these little milestones, rather than just people who might want to set up a business. They don't really help. They just probably ask you for loads of free advice and then bugger off. People who will help you in the dark hours, because there will be dark hours.
Yes, the importance of community. And that is very, very interesting, because one of the things that I've been testing is I make part of several groups within Facebook, actually online and offline is a more way of saying it. And for example, I had an idea yesterday and I put my idea in one of the groups that I make part of. Yeah. And I got 1 like on the idea. I felt the idea was great. So I wasn't even seeking for approval. I was just like, ooh, I had this idea I want to share. So I had 1 like on it. And I was like, great. So what I did, I edited the post. And this morning I had a 2nd like. I was like, fantastic. So that is green light. Not that I'm looking for approval, but it is a way of testing the idea for me. Because the group that I posted to is very specific. So once I got the 2nd like, then I posted the same post in a different group. So, and is a smaller number of members, but they are more engaged. And that's it caught fire. So it has to do with the sort of people you're hanging out with.
There's a big difference with with who you hang out with. So I'm so lucky. Sometimes I'll call people on Skype and I'm in tears, going, "This is going really wrong, and I hate my life. What am I going to do?" And they pick me up, and we have a laugh, and we get in half an hour again. You think, okay, maybe I'll take a day or 2 off, give myself some breathing space, and I'll get going again. And without those people, then I think I would have come off the rails quite badly and gone back to the job, to be honest.
Yes, very important. And what surprises you had along the way?
Losing 70 grand. That was I was hoping to make 70 grand, not lose it. You
must have really big pockets. How did you lose it? Or just like
one of the reasons why, when I first left corporate land, which would have been about 2010, I suppose, when I first had a go at it, I'd got quite a lot of savings because I got quite good consultancy fees. So I thought, I've got a nice big pot of money there I can spend on getting the new business up and running. I just spent it. I didn't get the new business up and running. So that was, you see all these people go, you just create this ebook and show a few people and life will be brilliant. Well, it didn't work like that at all. And I didn't believe how stupid you could be losing all that money by, you'd spend a couple of thousand on a mastermind weekend, or you buy some software, it was like 900 quid, and then you didn't want to work with, when I'd been the project, that software was no use to me anymore. That was £900 disappeared, and all that it was only like dribs and drabs, over the course of 2 years, but money did disappear, and I wasn't anticipating that at all. So I would definitely say, keep an eye on where that money's going. There's lots of people say, use this tool. It's like $50 a month, or you go and use that. And you find that starts to hemorrhage money over time. And it's only little amounts, but, a few £100s can disappear every month, no trouble at all, on promotional tools. So that was one thing I wasn't really expecting. I wasn't really expecting people not to care who I was. That hurt. I thought, because you knew this big shot, and they never did. That was another big surprise. And then, when it finally worked as well, not that I didn't believe in myself, but it was nice to see the concrete evidence, like you were saying with the likes. It's nice to see the concrete evidence that actually this does work. And seeing where it's taken other people has been pretty cool. So I was helping the guy on Monday, and he's writing a book about boxing. And I'd kind of known him for 4 years through social media. Slow burn would be a phrase that would be appropriate right now. And he's writing this book on boxing mindset, and he's coached professional boxers, and he has connections with the people who coach the Olympic team. I thought, wow, this is amazing. And I wouldn't have had that opportunity. I'd still have been looking at Fujitsu's documentation, what's exciting about that? And, Ricky Hatton might do the forward to this book and everything. I thought, wow. So I would never have predicted things like that happening. I just thought I will create something that looks professional, and I didn't kind of think about how opening my doors would open other people's doors for them.
Oh, that's so beautiful, and I really felt the passion of what you were sharing just now. And something that I would like to highlight when you were talking about the £70,000 lost in 2 years or across 2 years, is that when we are starting business, or even when we are running the business, the cash flow is the lifeblood of the business.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's very important, number one, I would say, to get financially educated to start.
Yeah. Mm.
Remember to keep a close eye, like a tiger.
Yeah.
Where is the money going and where is the money coming from?
Yeah, I need to spend money on customer acquisition, not something that creates pretty pictures. And I think it's easy to forget that. Once you've done things, you need to have this budget. So I remember I was a coach for one of the big internet marketer people, and this guy only had the course was like £1,200, I think, and that was his last £1,200 in the whole world. And he spent it on learning how to do this stuff, even though he was a carpenter and hated computers. I don't know how his online business is going to work. You've got to have at least some interest in it. And that was the last of his money in the whole world. And he's saying to me, I hope this works. I'm thinking, not exactly. I don't think it will. You've got no money left now to spend on getting the business off the ground. It's all disappeared. And you need to budget into, actually, it sounds cynical, but you've got to buy customers as well as kind of think, oh, people notice me on social media and it will be fluffy, or it might not be, and you've got to buy them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and in terms of customer acquisition, definitely we are always investing in customer acquisition, because getting to that stage where you're building your business by referral or word of mouth only may take a while to
Yeah.
get that off the ground, isn't it? After you've got a track record, that will happen with more ease. But you still
Yes.
need to invest in your clients, your systems, getting communications in place. Because in terms of customer service, I don't know, I'm used to deal with large companies like most of us, right? And the
Yes.
customer service is so great that
Mm.
if I'm working with a smaller company that they take like 3 days to reply to an email, that
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, I don't know if I want to deal with you guys. Maybe I just got a bad habit of getting a reply within 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just put on your contact us page, I'm based in the UK, this is my time zone. I answer emails between 9 and 5 Monday to Friday, as best I can, and give people a bit of an expectation of how long it's going to be, but some people, they've got no telephone number on there, they hide their email addresses and all sorts of things. Who wants to work with a company like that? I certainly don't. It's like, mate, you've got to be approachable and friendly. You've got to run a big time operation on small time resources a lot of the time.
Oh, I love the way you said it. That is beautiful. Can you repeat it for me? You have to run a big
time operation on small time resources.
That is fabulous. That is fabulous. Colette, I'm loving this conversation because you are so much fun, and mostly because you are very knowledgeable. You've got a wealth of experience. If people want to reach out to you, what would be the easiest ways of doing that?
Okay, I think the easiest thing to do would be to visit my website, and that is letstellyourstory.com. And on there, I've got some free information for people who are interested in writing a book, and a little bit more about me and why I decided to help people. That might help you. People who are watching might help them decide how they're going to explain why they wanted to help people. I think that's an important message you need to get across. So letstellyourstory.com.
Okay, that's wonderful. For me, for people who would like to reach me, I'm usually on Facebook. So that would be facebook.com/Clesia.Mendes, and I'll spell it for you. So that would be facebook.com/CLESIA.MENDES. Or if you prefer, you can go directly to my website. So that would be www.clesiamensch.com. And Colette, what would you say to someone who's looking to make the leap from employee to making a living as a change worker?
What would I say? I guess good luck with it, really. That's the biggest thing. Decide you're going to do it, commit to doing it, put in enough effort to get it off the ground as quick as possible without overanalyzing it, and just see where it takes you. I think that's but you've just got to commit and get going, really. You can't sit on the edge thinking, am I going to do this? Yes, no, you'll never get anywhere. So just decide, do it, grow a pair, man up, get it done.
Love it. Oh, thank you very much for being with us today. Remember to subscribe and share it with your friends, and I'm looking forward to see you again very soon.
Fabulous. Thank you very much. Bye.